Okay, so welcome to another workshop delivered to you by School of the Future International Academy, Sophia. I will say two sentences about the organization because this is supposed to be a very quick and small workshop. And it is on purpose because we know that you are all very busy people, but you still want bites and piece of knowledge that can take you to the next level with your teaching. That's why we decided to establish this new workshop series called Learning Bites in our organization. We are a non-for-profit organization registered in the UK, but operating globally with the vision to train school leaders and teachers in order to help them improve their school operations. Together, we're with the people that we're working with, we try to make their lives, the teachers and the students and the school leaders, easier by focusing on effective processes and procedures. I would like to welcome Thomas Economou in our discussion. He is our trainer for the day. So Thomas, if you would like to introduce yourself and then quickly get into the topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, Sophia team. Good afternoon from me as well. I'm Thomas Economou. I'm the coordinator of the Research and Innovation Department in Duca School. We are one of the top 3 private schools in Greece. We offer K-12 educational services and we have more than 1,600 students at the time. I'm very thrilled to be the first guest presenter of this new series of webinars that is starting here from Sophia. And let's make the best out of our time, the 30 minutes, and let's get to the subject as soon as possible. Okay, so what we will be seeing today is some AI tools that you can use to better organize yourself, to develop your lesson plans or improve them or brainstorm on them. What I found the other day, it's about 2-3 days ago, I found this picture online and it suited very well what we want to do today because it has a whole section of tools that you can use for creating lesson plans. With the support of of artificial intelligence, and this is the part that we will be talking today about. But first, let's go through why it's important, at least in our perspective, to use lesson plans. So these are 2 examples of some typical lesson plans, very generic, that that are in use. This is why we suggest that you use lesson plans, because lesson plans are a great way of exchanging ideas among peers. So you can give your lesson plans to a colleague of yours, so you can get the lesson plans from one of your colleagues, and you can very quickly and easily understand what you are supposed to do in the classroom, what learning objectives you will achieve by engaging your students in the learning activities of the lesson plan, what you will need, and so on. It also allows you to create a repository, maybe within your school. Let's take an example of a primary school. For example, in Greece, you might be teaching K2 this year, but next year you might be teaching K3. Wouldn't it be very nice if you had a repository in your school where you had plenty of lesson plans created by you and your peers, and then you could browse based on what you want to do, which subject, which topic, and you could find several ideas of activities that you can engage your students with. It gives you quick access to previous ideas that you had. If you recall them, if you have them stored, then you can go back and see what you did and remind yourself. And it also maybe supports the development process, the generation and recording of ideas, since you're going to be using the same, let's say, template to record your lesson plan. So some common sections that we see in the lesson plans, and we will go fast through this, so we get to the really core of the webinar today. What we use, obviously, some general information, which subject it refers to, how it aligns with the curriculum that we're teaching. It might be the National Analytical Program, let's say, or some curriculum that you have chosen in your school and you teach. What's the topic? What's the duration? It usually is in learning hours. what grade level students you should engage, and what's the age range, in what language the lesson is going to be taught, and so on. Then we usually describe what prior knowledge and what skills we want the students to have coming to the class and being engaged with these activities. What do they need to know? What skills do they need to have acquired prior to engaging with the learning activities? Which are the learning objectives by the end of the activities? What do we want our students to have achieved in terms of learning? What instructional strategies are we going to use? Are we going to use project-based learning, or any of the approaches that you use, flipped classroom, any of them that you use? We usually list them in the lesson plan. What are the learning activities, the description of the learning activities, what are you supposed to do, what are your students supposed to do, how do you assess or you evaluate the achievement of the learning objectives that you have set for this set of learning activities, the resources you will be using. It might have some additional, like health and safety, depending on the subject, on the topic, on the occasion, if it's going to be in a science lab, let's say. And what we usually have is a part where we list some extensions. So how could you, if you want, continue on and do additional activities on the same topic, on the same subject, building on what you've already done in the learning activities that you have in the main section of your lesson plan. So what we will be using today is generative AI tools, and there are a lot available. So what do we refer to when we talk about generative AI? And what we refer to is, let's say, a process where you input a set of prompts, and then you get as a result, as an output, text, images, videos, sound, codes, 3D designs, and so on. The most common example is text generation, but we also, and you probably have seen, or you have even better experimented with image generation or video generation, and so on. These are three of the most popular tools. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. It's also Microsoft Copilot, but that's what we use in the school, so we wanted here to explore new tools. But it does the same thing. You get the same result back. And what we will be using today as an example, and I will jump to that and we'll come back to this, is we've taken we call it learning and creativity plan in this context, but it's a lesson plan. It's in STEAM, it's STEAM, and we have added an E for entrepreneurship. This is a European project. And I've got this as an example because it was developed prior to artificial intelligence, and we didn't use it to develop it. And we're going to compare the results and see if it is similar to what a human has created. So in this example that we will be using, and it's a bit more detailed than just a lesson plan, so it has more sections. But in its idea, it's just like a lesson plan. So what we are doing in this lesson plan, we are having our students explore the Newton's Graddle, and we'll see. If you don't know what it is, you probably know, but we'll see. And we have them in teams construct Newton's Graddle themselves. We have them engaged in online simulations, and we'll see what we mean by that. And then we talk about the science behind it, the math, and so on. So this is the example we will be using, and we will be trying different tools to see what result we get. So let's get back to the general. In this context, I call them general Gen AI examples, and these are these. So ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini. They were not made specifically to do this job. We can use it. We can use them to do a lot of tasks. One of them is what we are talking about today, creating a lesson plan. So if you want them to create a lesson plan, you have to make the prompt. You have to provide it with a prompt. We said generative AI takes as input a set of a prompt or a set of prompts. So here I have taken the learning objectives that we had in the learning and creativity plan, in the lesson plan, and I have asked him for create a lesson plan for K7 students. What's the name, the topic, and then the learning objectives. And I just gave it that. And I got back something very similar to what the human had created. So you get students. It needs about 2 to 3 learning hours. You get students and give them the resources they need to build their Newton's Cradle, and they go on and build it. We will see these examples in real life. We will go to the very soon to the tools and do it ourselves. So the sections that it provided us, or maybe the let's say the stages was entitled, some basic information, what grade level, the learning objectives. Remember, this was the input that we had given it, the duration that we will be needing in the classroom, what materials will be needed, and then it had 4 distinct activities: the introduction, students building the Newton's Cradle, the experimentation with the Newton's Cradle, and the mathematical application. And then it had a small conclusion. So very, very basic with very basic sections, but we got a result back, and this is important because now we're going to see the other part of the other category of these tools that can help us in doing a lesson plan, which are the education-specific generative AI platforms or tools. And these are 3 examples. We have many more, and as we saw in the initial image with the circle, there are many tools that can help us with that, but these are specific to education. They're not generic or general, like the ChatGPT or Perplexity. And 3 examples are MagicSchool, Classmate, and Eduaide. Some of them, if not all, but for some it's unknown, at least to me, they use ChatGPT as the underlying model. So you basically interact with the same model, but what changes is the interface you have. So now it's more specific in terms that it guides you to, let's say, input the prompt. And this is an example. We will see it live as well. So here you don't have a blank space of entering one piece of text, but now it has different sections. So it asks you what grade level, what do you want your students to learn, what are the learning objectives, any custom prompting. So here you could say that I want students to work in teams of 3 to 5. I want it to be maximum 4 learning hours and so on. What's the content area? Is it STEM? Is it math? Is it language? Is it history? Then it has the state, and it has that because it tries to provide an alignment with a curriculum. And that's also why you have the next box, which is the standard alignment, and you can choose International Baccalaureate or any well-known, let's say, international system. Otherwise, you can leave it blank because I guess that, for example, it doesn't have Greece, and in our case, it does not. It cannot offer this service of aligning to the analytical program of the Ministry of Education. And then the lesson plan title, you hit generate, and you get the lesson plan. So again, I used the same example. I took the learning objectives. It was a project-based approach. So I gave that 2, and I gave the grade level. And what I got back was a bit more detailed than what I got back from ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini. But again, it was very close to what the human had designed. It proposed some kind of the same activities. It was a bit shorter in time, but still was very close to what we had developed, and it took us several hours to develop it ourselves. It took us 10 minutes using these tools. Again, here we have, it's a bit more specific if you compare, but it's along the same lines. It might be even the same model that we interacted with. As I told you, it could be a ChatGPT, the AI model used, and Eduaide uses ChatGPT. This is known, but for the others, it's uncertain to me, at least. It's not specifically being advertised. So again, we have the grade levels, the subject areas, the learning objectives, and the duration. We have the materials, the resources that are going to be needed, standards alignment, because as you saw, it's something that is being asked from us if it's possible to provide to get a better result, a better outcome. Then we have three different lessons. It will take us. It suggests that we should use 3 learning hours to do the activities, and then a closure and an assessment method. So something you can easily see from what we got from ChatGPT is, for example, that it didn't provide an assessment method. Was that and here you have the comparison. I have it. You see it's a bit more detailed with the education specific tools. Was it a problem that I didn't get an assessment from ChatGPT or Perplexity? No, because if we forget something, then we can add new prompts and get a new outcome. So if I get something with no assessment, I can ask, okay, try again, and also provide me a way of assessing the achievement of the learning objectives. So there's no specific reason to use the education-specific tools. It's more easy for us because we are being guided through the sections. But since we got multiple chances on coming back to the question that we asked the AI tool, then if we see that something is missing, we can add prompts, we can get new results, hopefully having what was missing at initially. So we will now go to the examples and we'll see. So here's I will get through this. Here are some simulations that might be used. For example, we have this, and then we can see several graphs. So this could also help the math aspect in our example, but it's nice to use tools even if they're not so sophisticated or so much in trend these days like AI is. I get that out of the way, and now let's see the examples. So what I had asked ChatGPT, and it was the first example. So I gave it specifically the age of the students, the grade of the students, the learning objectives, and nothing more. So I got back what we saw in the presentation. This again was really easy. It was just a prompt. I hit enter and I got everything back. Then the only thing needed is to take the content, of course, check it, and I will come back to that, and insert it into the template that you use and store it in the repository that you have. So you have created a lesson plan in about 5-10 minutes, and I would suggest at least 5-10 minutes to review it carefully, because that's always what you need to do using generative AI tools. And I will make a parenthesis now, and we try to repeat this as many times as possible. There is a thing called hallucinations for the case of the AI tools, at least as in the state that they are today. So many times it will provide an answer, although it does not have the answer. So it's not based on data. It just provides an answer. You can imagine this case to be like it doesn't want to let you down, it doesn't want to disappoint you. So it provides an answer, but this answer might be completely wrong. So our suggestion is to check everything very carefully before you get into class and do things with your students, or before you share it with anyone. So it makes our life easier, it makes things go faster, but we still have to spend time in cross-checking everything that we get as a result. Again, same case using Perplexity. I input the same or a similar prompt. I've used the same so we can see the differences between the tools. And again, I get a very structured lesson plan with the grade level, the duration, the learning objectives, the resources, the introduction. So I have the activities separated. I have an indication of how much time I should spend in each activity. And again, you see, this is an example where I didn't get an assessment method, for example, and I go back, I provide another prompt, provide me with an assessment method, and it comes back with the answer. And I have a suggestion for assessing the achievement of the learning objectives. So it's pretty straightforward. Here we have Eduaide, and I will spend a few more minutes on this because it provides you with a lot of other choices as well. So again, I go to an example I have already prepared so that we don't spend time in entering the prompts. But again, I gave the learning objectives. I gave the same information, to be honest, to all the different tools, and I got back again a very structured lesson plan. Now here, we are in the education specific tools. So ChatGPT and Perplexity are tools that you use for generative AI tools that provide you with text, but we also have other possibilities, ChatGPT especially, but we use it mostly for that. But now this is an education specific, and you'll see the difference in this one. This is more complex than the then the auto classmate that we will be seeing and we saw in the example. So why is this more first? I got a similar reply, and here I got a reference to assessment, although I didn't ask. So it has a more structured way of giving you a lesson plan. And you see why? If I go to generator, all the tools that I'm suggesting are free for use. Maybe not all aspects and not all features, or maybe for a limited number of questions, but you can use them for free, at least in this point. So if I go here and I will refresh, sorry. Okay. So here I have many different choices, as you will see. And here as well, you can have games, you can have assessment, and then you can choose specific approaches like the 5 E's, or have a student-centered approach or a team-based activity. So it gives you more choices, but you have to make choices before you get a result. So you have to know what you want, so you can choose the right options. If we go to Auto Classmate, and because in several workshops that we have used it, I saw there was a problem. If you Google Auto Classmate and you open the home page, you will be directed here. Here, go to this set of tools, and you can see this labeled as freemium, AI-powered lesson plan generator, use tool now, and you will be redirected to the environment that we saw. And here you can see that it's obvious that it's using ChatGPT, the GPT model to generate content. And here, as we saw, you have the different box areas where you can input your prompt and you can get back your result. Again, we suggest it has a lot of them, as you know, have like here I can save my discussion, so I can have my different lesson plans here, and I can visit. I can always visit ChatGPT and revise them and see what I got. But that's not what we suggest. We suggest that you take your content out of the AI tools. You put it into your templates and you have your own files. Preferably, if this could be in a digital form where you have filters and you can filter and you can find the lesson plan that's relevant to you, to the topic that you want to engage your student with, and the learning objectives that you want to achieve, then it's much better. But for sure, take it out of the AI tool and have it in your toolkit, whatever this is, if it's a digital repository or a printout repository, whatever. It's good that you have it stored in your own way. So I think that that's about it. We've seen all the tools. So I will ask Sophia team to spend the last 4 minutes to see if we have any questions. It was really fast. So I understand that even if you found something interesting, you will need to kind of explore it yourself, but you got an idea of what you can use and how you can use it and how you can facilitate this process of generating, creating, or recording your lesson plans. And if there are any questions, I will be more than happy to answer.
Well, this was super interesting. I see somebody unmuting, so if they want to ask the question, Huma?
One question. Huma,
Sure.
a simple question, not a very complicated one. But the thing is, like, we are using Perplexity for such a long time, and Gemini AI and ChatGPT. The point comes in as a teacher is when we typically ask them to customize that lesson plan. For example, for one student or two students, who have some inclusion problems or other things. Even then, they give us general answers. That is my point. They don't give us very specific answer or to the which can meet my target for inclusion, for differentiation. Those answers are in general. Even then, we ask them the condition. We put the condition. Okay, this is the student's problem. So how can we, or what are the platforms where we can find specifically these kind of answers? Latest Grok 3, I have even used that. I have used DeepSeek as well for generating these lesson plans. But even then, I'm sorry to share it with you. They all are giving us general answers. Thank you.
Yes, I would agree with that, and I have used DeepSeek in the last days as well a lot. To be honest, that's why the teacher is still in the center of this process. It's just a tool that you have, so then it's up to you, and you have the expertise, not the tool, to include students and to personalize it and make it fit your circumstance. And I would advise that even if it had the option, that it's you that chooses the approach and the way of doing things. For me, it's a great, like you have millions of minds brainstorming to help you make the decision. But you have to make the decision. You have to be the one behind adapting your content, in my opinion. Hopefully, sometime, someday, it will
Thank you
be
for
able.
mentioning this.
Mm.
You are,
Uma,
as a teacher, experts, not the GPTs and all them. Thanks for mentioning that. Because as a teacher, we don't have to forget that actually, if you are expert, we as teachers are expert enough, only then we can extract the best things from all these tools. Thank you.
that's true. That's
Exactly,
true.
exactly.
Evangelia Kudupidi also has a question.
Yes, thank you.
Hi.
There are some AI tools like School AI, which allows us to create chatbots. If you have any experience with that, could you please make comments based on your experience?
Mm. To be honest, we have used AI chatbots, but it wasn't programmed by us. It was by the Polytechnic University of Madrid. So I know that, and it wasn't very interactive. So what we wanted them to do, we had several IoT sensors in plants, indoor plants in school, and we wanted to get the data so the student would interact with the chatbot and would ask them questions to get the data, and it also had some possibility of giving back emotion. So if the data of the plants were good, then the plants were happy, and the chatbot would express this happiness as a plant to the student. But other than that, we haven't progressed more. Maybe you have much more experience in doing so. But that's as far as we have gotten.
Thank you.
Well, Evangelia,
Indeed.
that's actually a great idea for the next learning bite. So thank you very much for commenting it. We might, reach out there to our colleagues and experts, in our international colleagues and experts, to see if we can have somebody come and show us maybe some case studies or some models that other schools are using out there, because it is a very useful tool in the teaching and learning process.
It is, and in fact, using School AI, it's so easy for the teacher to create a chatbot specific to the unit he works with her students, and then it doesn't need for the student to log into any platform. The student, all it needs is a link, and then it uses the chatbot for her study.
Excellent. Yes, we will explore it. It's an excellent idea to bring it forward and explore it further.
And thank you for sharing the tool.
Yes,
Any knowledge being exchanged is good.
You're very
definitely.
welcome.
Definitely, definitely. So we are 2 minutes after the half of the hour. I would like to thank again from the deepest of my heart, Thomas, for his time, and all of you for participating in the first workshop of this little series we are organizing. We will be back soon with the next one. Those of you who have indicated in the registration form that you want to be hearing from us, you will receive a personal invitation for the next one. Thank you very much for being here. I'm leaving my email address in the chat if you want to contact us. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.